I'm going to go ahead and talk to you guys about how to make money with the stock market. I'm going to break down all the basics. Let's go and jump into it. So what is a stock in the first place? At its core, a stock, and it's known as an equity. It's a security that represents a fractional ownership in a corporation or company. When you buy a share of the stock, you're buying a small piece of that company and a percentage of it. That makes you a part owner or what's called a shareholder. And it gives you a claim on a portion of the company's assets and earnings. And companies issue stock for a primary reason, to raise money for growth. Instead of borrowing money from a bank, a company can sell shares of ownership to the public through an initial public offering. This capital allows the company to expand operations, develop new products, or fund research. And we'll talk about two types of companies, public companies versus private companies. A private company is owned by a small group of investors, and it's often its founders. A public company, on the other hand, trades its share on the stock exchange, like the New York Stock Exchange, or the NASDAQ, and anyone, such as me and you, can buy these shares. And there's going to be shareholder rights involved, and as a shareholder, you typically have voting rights on important company matters, such as electing the board of directors, and the more shares you own, the more influence that you have. And when you buy a single share of Apple stock, you become a tiny part of the owner of one of the world's largest companies. And your ownership stake, while small, means you have a claim on a fraction of Apple's profits, for example. And two ways to make money with stocks. So there's two ways. One, capital gains. This is the most often and most common way that people make money. And a capital gain is the profit that you make when you sell a stock for a higher price than you paid for it. And the goal is simple: buy low and sell high. The difference between the selling price and the purchase price is going to be your profit. So for example, if you purchase 10 shares of a company, say company A, at $50 a share, and a year later, let's say the company's been grinding, they've been dropping new products, they've been helping out people, okay, the future innovation has been coming into play. A year later, the stock's value rose up to $75 per share. If you sell 10 of your shares, you make a capital gain of $25 per share for a total profit of $250. And that's before any taxes or fees. Okay, so that's capital gains, just standard profit that you make by price going in an upwards direction. Okay, so the more companies decide to innovate and stuff like that, then capital gains is going to relate to that. So let's talk about dividends. Dividends are a portion of a company's earnings that it distributes to its shareholders. And not all companies pay dividends, but many mature, profitable companies do. They're typically paid out quarterly in cash, and they represent a passive income stream for investors. And companies that pay dividends often do so to attract and reward long-term investors. So for example, if company B pays a quarterly dividend of 50 cents per share, if you own 100 shares, you would receive $50 every quarter. And this adds to $200 in passive income over a year, in addition to any capital gains you must realize. Okay, so the more shares that you have, the more that you're going to get paid out in dividends. Okay, so you can stack up on certain shares and you'll get paid on dividends depending on certain parameters. Do your research before you invest. So speaking of research, let's talk about the importance of it. So to be a successful investor, you have to do your homework. Making informed decisions is going to be crucial to minimize your risk and maximize your returns. You want some bread, right? It's time to be grinding harder than ever. It's time to be staying down, putting that bread away so we can have more bread to put into our investments. And let's talk about fundamental analysis. This method involves evaluating a company's financial health to determine its intrinsic value. And you look at factors like its revenue and earnings. How much money is the company making in the first place? And is the company growing? And we'll talk about the PE ratio, price to earnings ratio. This compares a company's share price to its earnings per share, helping you understand that if a stock is over or undervalued. And management and market position. Is the company's leadership strong? And does it have a competitive advantage in its industry? For example, a company with consistently growing revenue, high profit margins, and a strong balance sheet is generally considered a good long-term investment. Conversely, a company with declining sales and a lot of debt may be a risky investment. And diversification. This is the strategy of spreading your investments across different assets to reduce risk. And the old saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket, applies perfectly here. Okay. And only God is perfect, but it's a great scenario here. And this is by investing in a variety of different sectors. Let's say AI, cryptocurrency, healthcare, whatever is going to be used to progress the markets forward. Okay, it's going to be a potential factor that you could invest in and make some money in. So let's talk about some investing stuff. So investing in general is a long-term strategy, and investors typically buy stocks with the intention of holding them for years or even decades, and they focus on the fundamental value of a company and its long-term growth potential. And they are less concerned with short-term market fluctuations. Some key characteristics: time horizon. Okay, it's going to take years to decades and months, days sometimes to make some great profit from shares. Okay, but sit on your trades, let them cook. Okay, let your trades hold for a long time and gain APY, also known as annual percentage yield gains per year. Okay, let your money stack up, and the longer that you hold, let's say you hold for a year, then you're going to be subject to a lot of tax benefits. Okay, and have a good mindset. Be patient. Okay, God says be patient and stay focused on the fundamental growth. And you're trying to build wealth over time for retirement or major life events if anything happens. Okay, so have your checking account, have your maybe your savings account, your business account, and then have your trading account money. Okay, all separated, and make sure you're doing your taxes. And trading is a short-term strategy, and it's where traders buy and sell stocks frequently, and it's often within the same day. Okay, and that's called day trading, whenever you're closing a position within the same day and opening it within the same day. And swing trading means holding a trade for over a day. Okay, it could be for a couple of days, a week, months, or years. Okay, and they heavily rely on technical analysis to spot patterns and indicators for quick profits from short-term price movements. And some key characteristics: time horizon. Okay, for day trades, you can hold from minutes to hours. Okay, and that's any trade close and open within the same day. Okay, and swing trading can go from minutes to months. Okay, to minutes to days. Okay, so as soon as you open your contract, as long as you're holding it for over a day, okay, from the minute you open it, as long as it's open for over a day, that'd be considered a swing trade. So the mindset, okay, you can either if you're like a futures trader, for example, and you can't afford the full margin, then they're going to be forced to be a day trader. But if you're a stock trader, okay, for example, okay, or you trade stock options, then you're going to be able to hold for many months, many days, depending on the contract that you buy. Or shares, you can go ahead and just buy and hold for days, years, and months, and use this in order to generate income. And even from day trades, take that profit. Don't go buy LV, don't go buy the Lamborghini just yet. Stay down, reinvest it into profits, reinvest it into shares. Okay, buy some more stocks. That way your money's going to always be making you money, and then go ball out later on. Okay, stay down first. Trust me. You don't want to be going broke or be getting into debt because you didn't invest. So some common investment strategies. Choosing the right strategy is going to be key to success. And here are the two most popular and accessible ones. One, DCA, so dollar cost averaging. And this is a strategy where you invest a fixed amount of money at regular intervals, regardless of the stock's price. For example, investing $100 in a stock every month. This approach averages out your purchase over time, reducing the risk of buying at a market high, and it's simple, disciplined way to invest. So for example, and don't be buying at all-time highs. Do your TA, do your technical analysis research, make sure your chart lines up with what you want to invest in. Okay, don't buy at all-time highs. Wait for a pullback, and if you're struggling with how to identify pullbacks or you don't know what to buy, head over to StackMode.net. So, for example, in January, for example, if you buy one share of a stock for $100, in February, you'll buy another share for $90. In March, you buy a third share for $110. Your average purchase price is now $100. If you had invested $300 all at once in January, your average would be higher. Okay, and value investing. Made famous by the legendary investor Warren Buffett. Okay, value investing involves finding stocks that are trading for less than their intrinsic value. And value investors look for bargains in the market. So look for lows. Okay, we're going to be going over certain lows, and let's go ahead and break down the chart with certain things. Okay, so when it comes to breaking down certain lows, you need to understand support and resistance first. So resistance is going to be the area where price is going to be falling in a downwards direction, as that's due to the fact where sellers came in. Okay, so let's take this example for here. So I can see here that there's going to be resistance above current price. Okay, I can see that price open the same year that this video is going to be recorded in. I'm expecting a big sweep here. Okay, due to the fact that I see, okay, the IPO, initial public offering, hit the stock market here. Okay, shares went down. Looks like it created a low here at this area of support. And I can assume that price wants to sweep up to an area of resistance. Okay. So always understand that within the stock market too, price is going to always be trying to chase and break areas of resistances. That's going to be the main goal of the stock market. Okay. So once again, price is going to try and chase and break areas of resistance. It's not going to keep falling at the same areas of resistances forever. Okay. One day, inshallah, the company's going to grind, drop a good product. Okay. Investors are going to invest into it. They might collab with some other company, and resistances are going to be broken because there's going to be investors putting money into it, increasing its value, thus increasing its share price. Okay. So a lot of the times in the stock market, I'm looking to play within a bullish scenario. I personally don't really short the stock market too much because I know that it's a left to right chart. Okay. I know that any good stock, for the most part, I can see here from left to right, from year after year, it just goes in an upward direction. Okay. No matter how many pullbacks happen, the goal of the stock market is to go in an upward direction because companies are working hard, hiring customers, waking up, grinding, okay, and putting their all in order to grow the company, inshallah. Okay. So technicals are going to be really the simple part. So let's get back into the lesson. So value investing. Okay. Value investing helps you just keep buying in increments over time, buying at certain pullback levels. And some risks to consider. No investment is going to be without risk. And understanding these risks are going to be crucial for making informed decisions and protecting your capital. And remember, past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Okay. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. You have to be consistent. Okay. You have to keep going hard. Okay. You have to keep your head in the game and don't stop. Keep balling. And market risk. This is the risk that your entire investment portfolio would decrease in value due to a downturn in the overall market. And factors like a recession can affect you, global events, or political instability that can cause a broad market decline. And diversification is the primary tool to mitigate risk, okay, whether it be in certain sectors, healthcare, AI, broker stocks, etc. And inflation. So this is the risk that your purchasing power of your investment returns will be eroded by inflation. That's when pretty much everything gets more expensive in the company. And if your stock portfolio only grows 2% in a year, but inflation's at 3%, you effectively lost purchasing power. And liquidity risk. This is the risk that you won't be able to sell your investment quickly enough to prevent a loss. And this is generally not an issue with major stocks on major exchanges, but can be a factor for penny stocks or investments in smaller, less known companies, for example. And the role of a brokerage account. To buy and sell stocks, you're going to need a brokerage account. And a brokerage is the financial firm that facilitates transactions between buyers and sellers on a stock exchange. And think of them as the gateway to the stock market. And here's what to look for. Low fees on your brokerage account. Many brokerages offer commission-free trading on stocks and ETFs. And find yourself a user-friendly platform. Okay, there's going to be a lot of brokers available. Figure out which one works for you. Okay, it should be easy to navigate, easy to understand. Shouldn't be any type of hidden fees and stuff like that. And research tools. Okay, a lot of them offer good research tools, stuff where you can look at the chart, okay, set alerts, etc. And make sure that the broker has a good customer support team. Okay, you don't want to be having your bread stuck in loops. Okay, you don't want to be having your money stuck in a financial ruin and be going through financial turmoil for absolutely no reason. Okay, so choose a brokerage account that has some good reviews, has a great customer support team, and make sure that it has some insurance too. So in case the broker ever shuts down, you'll be able to get your money back. So that's what regulated is. And make sure you guys just play a good broker that has some money saved up. Okay. For example, a brokerage account is going to be like your bank, but for the stock market. And then you can deposit cash into your account with your card on some of them. That's also going to be something too. Some brokers don't offer instant card transfers, but some do. Okay. But you can deposit using your bank account, wire transfers, etc. And then you can use that cash to place orders to buy and sell stocks on the market. And investing in the stock market involves risk, and its presentation is going to be for educational purposes only, and it's not considered financial advice. Okay. Before you make your decisions, okay, pray to God. Okay, take your time. And don't lose yourself. Even if you lose money, it's going to be good. You're going to run it up again as long as you stay persistent. Okay. Keep going. No matter how many losses you take, no matter how many times you think you're not going to get to where you want to be, ignore all those thoughts. Stay focused. Ignore everything and just stay focused. Okay. I love you guys so much. Stay prayed up to God, keep grinding, and head over to StackMODE.net for all trading education. Peace.